dad had a business in Detroit, a couple actually. So I spent time in the city, but also in that spread of Michigan and the Midwest, and as I look back on it, it was a pretty good chance to just get a taste of a lot of the world uh, that was going on.
How did growing up in the Midwest at all influence your art and your work?
Well, I didn't. My mother had been an actress before she got married. She was like 21, and my dad was 32. They got married like a lot of people right as the war had broken out. They had an unusual thing go on in our family because my mother had well, my mother and dad, but she did all the work, had 4 pregnancies, and 3 of them were twins. So she had the first 5 of us in 3 years, and all 7 of us in 6 years, within a 6 calendar years. So we were the only people on our street that had 3 sets of twins. And but she had been an actress. My dad had been was a musician who ended up booking bands of guys that had been in his band to play the various country clubs and weddings and stuff like that, and some of the hotels and that sort of thing around Detroit. And he had an office supply business so that's what he hustled and fed us, and we grew up around those kind of influences. So, so it wasn't like show business was really far away, but it wasn't like we were right. I wasn't growing up like Bo and Jeff Bridges, where their dad was a TV star and stuff like that. But and it was my twin sister and my younger brother who I think back in those days people said who might end up with an acting career. It probably wouldn't have been me. I was more into sports and science. Um,
You played
uh,
football, right?
Pardon me?
Played football?
I played football and basketball and track. We had
Mhm.
it was a small high school, but I did play sports and I liked it.
Mm.
And I ended up going to a small college in Massachusetts where I did play football and 1 season of lacrosse in the spring, and then I started playing rugby there. So I went on and played rugby into my early 30s.
You received a Bachelor of Arts degree from Williams College and a Master of Business Administration degree from the University of Michigan. And later, you were an instructor for the University Liggett School before becoming an actor.
No, the Liggett School came right out of college.
Wow.
Those were the days. There was the draft.
Yeah.
You had choices. I had choices. I could have gone to officers candidate school, committing 5 years and ordering people to go kill somebody, along, and I could have gone in the Foreign Service. They were eager to find, economics majors that they could. I probably would have gotten drafted into the CIA or something in those times if I look back on it, But one day someone said, "Oh, there's somebody from your part of the Detroit area over in the wherever the people would come and interview students," and it was a headmaster of a small country day school outside of Detroit was looking for somebody to teach 8th grade boys history and English, and maybe be an assistant coach on the football team. And it didn't matter to him that I had no courses in history or education because I had gone to an Eastern college and I played sports. And that's what the fathers were hoping for their young boys that they were sending to this school, that seemed to be a successful route. So anyway, I got that job and I did that for 2 years there. And then I had just felt like I didn't want to do it another year. And I called out to Ann Arbor, and the only school that was still accepting applications was the business school. And since I ended up being an economics major at the liberal arts college, so that meant I took a couple more economics courses than other courses. But it was definitely a wide range of studies. So I went out and I did that. And that was a way, being a privileged white person, educated, and not growing up in a household where, you just weren't a man if you didn't join the service. And so that's the way I made it to 26 without being drafted and going to Vietnam. So I'm a veteran of the era, which influenced us all, but in my early 30s, I was up late one night talking to my mother, her dad, my grandfather, my grandpa Jack, who was a wonderful old, Irish grandpa, but he was a World War I psychological casualty. They didn't have the notion of PSTD then, but or PTSD, but he had some really awful experiences that made him, quite a drinker and all in his earlier days. And so my mother had really planted in my brothers and my brains, don't go to war. And I didn't realize that until that time. And I don't even remember what it was she said, but the whole picture came clear to me. So I wasn't that clear on whether we should be there or shouldn't be there, or I should serve, I shouldn't. I wasn't that clear. I just had, when choices came up to do something else, I took them, and that's how that went for me. And of course, then I ended up playing a Marine Vietnam vet, during a time where there were a lot of different ways people were portraying vets. Era, they were either they could be like Sylvester Stallone and Rambo, John Voight with his incredible performance in Coming Home, I think was the name of the movie. But a lot of vets were being played as drug addicts and really mentally unstable, and I wasn't. I didn't want to do that. At the same time, for Danny Arnold was a Marine. Danny, for those that don't know, was the creator of Barney Miller. He was when he wrote all of the scripts, or did the final rewrite on all the scripts for the first 4 years or so, until he put himself in the hospital doing that. He was just a brilliant, wonderful, creative guy who just made a total commitment to making a good show, and that really respected the intelligence of the audience. Where sometimes in Los Angeles, people would think, people on the coast would sometimes think of that flyover world as a bunch of people who don't really think that much or anything. So I think people that like Barney Miller, they appreciated. It wasn't the only show like that. There were some great shows on during that time, but Danny had been a Marine, during the Korean War. So over time, as scripts evolved, it kind of dealt with that. We found a way, and the character of Wojo emerged in ways as being not so much the black and white cop, but somebody who maybe thought he should have black and white ideas about the world, but his heart kept telling him something different.